Welcome to another episode of In the Nude. Today we're going to have an amazing naked conversation with Christian Ray Flores. He's a man who's devoted to the idea of helping you create a public self that doesn't abandon your real self. The question I really want to start with, honestly, is with everything you do and all of your background that you have, how do you see that integrating with the healing journey?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, I think, thanks for having me, first of all.
Yeah, for
Appreciate
sure.
it. And I work with people on their personal brands, right?
Yeah,
And as you said, public self, not different from the real self. And I think the answer is right there in that gap. I think most
yeah,
of us have an identity gap. And that identity gap shows up because we were taught, right, to be something and someone in different settings, and it's actually multiple identities that we sort of deploy with family. We're one person in our whatever faith community. We're somebody else at our
hmm
job in the office. We're somebody else, et cetera, et cetera. So there's this identity gap that it develops fairly early on because we are sort of we're taught, okay, this is how you fit in. This is how you get accepted. And the, when you talk about brand, which means basically how you show up in public to a
yeah,
broader audience, that identity gap can be even wider than the normal identity gap, right? And
hmm
I think finding one of the things that I love doing with people is not only bridging the gap between somebody's expertise and wisdom that they can share with the world. And we
hmm
live in times this is the best time to be alive because you can reach anyone anywhere at any time
yeah,
through technology and social media and internet and stuff like that. But that you asked about healing. If what you present to the broader world, not just in the social pockets that you're part of, but to the broader world, and if there's no gap between what you present there and who you are at home, I think that heals people.
I love that. I've personally found that to be very true. I completely agree with you that there's the whole in school, how you're supposed to perform and be, and you're allowed to have so much feeling, but only so much that's appropriate. You learn how to filter, you learn how to be. Um, we just naturally have these different, I call them masks that we
Yeah.
put up to be like, I'm
Mhm.
this version of Rachel and this version of Rachel. And it's very true. The more that I have learned how to, I call it come to your true self, but coming back and figuring out who you are and willing off those things, the more that I can have just I am. What is. Who I am in this moment is who I am off of this moment. And the more, not only impact for other people, but the more that integrates into your life and you feel comfortable and safe in it, the more your life becomes magic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Most people don't think they have enough inside of them to actually create magic. And that's the other identity gap is that what we know and the experience that we've gone through, um, they feel so familiar, so close, and so perhaps on the surface unrelated to the thing that we do in public.
Yeah.
And most people, we just ignore it. And that, I mean, all of us. I do this for a living and I ignore it.
Yeah.
Like I have to dig, I have to become more self aware. And then when I remember something, then I bring it out of the, you know, um, out of the treasure chest into the open and I package it and I present it to the world as something valuable.
Can I
But I
pause
think
for a
part of the
second?
exercise, yeah,
I love the words you used, pulled it out of the treasure chest, because the implication, the like subconscious implication of those words is where are you pulling that information out of?
that's right.
Yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That means
Of,
you are
of
the
course.
treasure chest. You are the
Oh,
treasure.
that's
Anyway.
exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are walking on treasure. It's like you bought a field and there's a treasure in the field and it's buried and it's there, but you have to dig for it, right? So the field is worth X, but with a treasure, the field is worth 10X.
hmm
And if you dig, your field will be worth much more. And that's essentially what I do when I work with people in developing their personal brands. Is that
Yeah.
how do we dig out the treasure put it in some form that other people can see it and delight in it and benefit from it.
Yeah.
And then how do we present it to the world consistently through content? That's basically
Okay.
it.
So this is a question I have. I spent most of my life extreme masking, right? I was a
Okay.
very big people pleaser, fawn, whole ed vibe. I found in my journey of healing that I had no idea of any of myself. And I don't think that I'm alone in this because I've met a number of people. So say someone is wanting to work with you, right? Or they want to grow this brand, they want to have a personal brand, they want to whatever, but they don't know how to figure out what's them versus what they're presenting.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? Like, because that's a tangible thing that anybody could apply.
I basically go on a journey with them of remembering. I think brand is not inventing or creating or manufacturing. I think brand is remembering
Yeah,
at its very
refining.
core. At its very
Yeah,
core, it's remembering what's already there and then revealing it and applying sort of this filter of this is very valuable, and then making it digestible, helpful, useful to other people.
yeah,
It's incredible. Like I'm telling you, from people that are sort of normal middle class or upper middle class professionals, a professor, for example, or a manager, all the way to a CEO of a $300 million a year company. All of us have that gap, and all of us have this familiarity gap where we go, yeah, this is just what I do. This is how I think. This is what I've been. This is what I've done. And I go, yeah, really? Like you think this is not special, right? Let me show you. So we dig around, we talk about experiences and passion and nuances and inclinations and quirky things and stories. All of those things we dig up, and then we make sense of it. And that's basically how we do it. We dig for treasure for a while,
yeah,
and then we go, okay, I get it. We have our treasure. We have sort of the categories. We have silver coins, gold coins, and jewels and rubies and diamonds. Okay, let's organize them in a particular way, and let's start creating something with it that other people can enjoy.
yeah. I love the fact that you included quirky in there. I
Oh,
think a lot of the
totally.
times, I feel a lot of times the weird stuff in us that is actively fantastic and beautiful. There's
Yeah.
been one too many moments where somebody has said, "You're too much. That's not
Mm,
cool. I don't like it that
mm.
we just like regret." But I love the fact you included that.
Oh, absolutely. You own it. You own it. You take pride in it. You relax into it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that's sort of the idea. People have this sort of fake idea, and I think some of it has to do with insecurity. Some of it has to do with the medium, right? Social media can be fairly fake, right? You just put the highlights of your life and all of that stuff. Um, but I think it's really more. It's more primal than even that, than just the medium. I
Yeah.
think human beings, we're tribal beings. Our survival historically for thousands of years is acceptance into a tribe.
Mhm.
Rejection equals death. So I think it's much more primal. It's not about the medium. It's not because of the medium. The medium is because of that, right?
Mhm. I was gonna say it
So
accentuates the truth.
it accentuates the truth. It's the source of why the medium became so sort of fake and superficial. And yet, when we talk about brand, it's fascinating how people do not fall in love with companies. They do not fall in love with products. They fall in love with people. And people, they fall in love with people because these peoples are quirky, they're particular, they're too much in some way or another. You can list any person that inspires you, that you look up to, that you take this or that from, and
Mhm.
I can guarantee you'll find a very high level of quirkiness in that person. That's what makes that person so interesting to us, right?
Mhm.
So if you don't highlight and expose that and are transparent with that, you're literally missing out on the uniqueness of you when it comes
Yeah.
to being in public, right?
I also think there's a part of the quirky because we all have it, right? But we're all kind of sometimes afraid of showing it. I think when
Yeah.
people show that quirkiness, they're offering of just it really simple. It's not ugly, it's not raw, it's not crying, it's just a little bit of vulnerability. A little bit of like
Yes. Yeah, you're a human
and then
being. I
yeah,
like
and
that
when
about
you
you. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, I can identify that," or "I don't have that, but I get that," or "I just respect the fact that you are owning you." And you
That's right.
feel like yeah. Now,
That's
I
right.
think that the baseline of most, I think it's really, really funny and true for me too. The thing that gains us the most is usually the thing that we fear the most. So when we see somebody else offer vulnerability, we love it. It's fire, it's fireworks, it's beauty. But when we come to us, we want to open our mouth, but we're so scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that takes practice. And I think sometimes it takes guidance. Sometimes it takes an ecosystem of people who accept you. I think who you walk with is really important. Um, but I think it's really the ideal way of being. It really is. Like I have 3 daughters. My whole life in one way or another, I've been fairly public, right?
Yeah.
Fairly public. I was in show business for a long time, for over a decade. I was pretty well known. I've done sort of senior positions in different companies and nonprofits and that and this, and I had speak on stages, right? So, and I can tell you with 100% certainty that if you speak to my daughters, I have 3 of them, and
Mhm.
you say, that thing about your dad that he shares on a podcast, for example, right, with
Mhm.
Rachel, is that really him? And I can absolutely guarantee you they'll go, yep, 100%. There is no
Yeah.
gap there. And I think people can tell when there's no gap, and that's really attractive to people.
Yeah. It's kind of like when somebody is talking to you, whether it's in a video or in person, and you can tell the vibe almost immediately. That like you can see it when people scroll, where they have
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
person's like presenting a front,
yeah, yeah. Oh,
and
totally.
you
My
automatically
gosh.
get off put by it because you feel like
Hmm.
what's the alternative motive? But when somebody just shows up and
Hmm.
they're just being, there's something
Yeah,
magnetic.
you immediately feel when somebody is fronting, and because usually it's rooted in insecurity and in that sort of masking thing that you're saying, and immediately it becomes less valuable to you, right? Because okay, I don't know what's behind the mask, but okay, thanks for telling me all of your accomplishments in 30 seconds, that kind of thing. But if you show up and you're relaxed and you're happy and you're generous and you are sort of authentic and transparent, there's value there immediately because that shows security, that shows comfortability, peace, inner peace. And we crave inner peace. We want to be around people who are comfortable in their own skin, right? So it could be a real estate person or a finance person or a philosophy person or a yoga person or a spirituality person. Whatever it is, you will be attracted to the most authentic person in that area that gives you some value in that area.
Yeah. No, that was perfect. I loved your use of the word generous because it's not a word that people often associate with it, but
Right.
it really
Yeah.
is. But a lot of life, you can feel drained. You can feel empty. You can feel you don't have something to give, right? So in order to be generous, what do you think is the foundation to have something to be generous with?
That's the treasure. If you know you have a treasure, you want to share it.
Yeah.
If you feel like you are running on empty, you're burned out, you don't have peace in your life, you don't have a thing that is so valuable that it will you would want to bless other people with. You're not going to be generous just because you don't have anything to give. I think overflow is a good word if we're talking about words, right? When
Uh-huh.
you're
Yeah.
filled to the brink, you will overflow naturally and organically. If you're not filled to the brink and have this scarcity sort of play, you're in a scarce place. You are perhaps resentful or tired or uninspired or just hurt.
Hmm.
You will not. It's very hard to be generous in that state. It's just a state of being, and it's very hard to not be generous if you feel the sense of gratitude, if you feel love, if you feel security, peace, and not perfection, because no one has a perfect setup, right? Like I've been around all kinds of people, to the poorest of the poor, to the richest of the rich, the most powerful to the most powerless, and everyone has stuff past. It's just one question away where you go, oh, that's your pain, right?
Mhm.
That's where the cracks are.
Yeah.
Every single one of us, we have that.
Yeah. So speaking of everybody having it, right? We all have had, even if it's not now, points in our past where we were in the place of not being able to be generous because we are in that survival. I'm curious, in your life, when you were in that place of survival
Hmm.
and you couldn't give generosity, give generously, there's the words.
Yeah.
How did you in your life move from that place of feeling the need for survival to protect yourself and not being stingy to being able to what small things did you do that were tangible that you could start finding that treasure for yourself?
So I was in my mid-20s. That was my first career. I've changed 5 careers. Um, my first one was in music, and I was very, very lucky to be very successful. This was in Eastern Europe, and I became one of the top pop artists on all of that space, 15 countries. And I had cracks right under the surface,
Mhm.
right? And mine were related to, well, first of all, it's a very weird place to be, fame,
Mhm.
especially for a young person. Second, I had sort of this trauma with my parents' divorce. I was very traumatized by it. I wanted love, and I had sabotaged every relationship I was in, and I was terrible, and I was bankrupt in that sense, right? And emotionally, I was bankrupt. So the reason I tell you that's backstory is that it's just give you the context.
Yeah, no,
What
for
do you
sure.
do? What do you do in moments like that? I believe that in moments like that, the best thing you can do is find somebody you can trust, and then follow that person who is safe, who can guide you in places where you have major blind sides.
Mhm.
And I found a guy who was a Canadian pastor, and he was this incredible family man, has the sweetest families. And I just he was magnetic for me, right? And
Yeah.
and I just said, how do I get this? And he goes, I can teach you. Just we can meet like every week or every other week or something like that. And I said, please. And the decision was really of surrender and trust. You
Surrender is
know,
such a huge word. I
it
love
is,
it.
yeah. Because I have a lot on the surface. I have a lot to brag about. I'm famous. I have a staff. I was playing sports arenas by then, right?
Yeah.
Big crowds. There's a magazines, MTV,
Mhm.
radio, whatever you name it. So people from the outside in would go, that guy has arrived. I am
Mhm.
completely bankrupt on my end. I'm going, and I'm being self-aware enough to go, I'm not doing well, and I am very much desperate. I'm desperate, and
Yeah.
acknowledging that's humility, right?
Yeah.
And then when you meet somebody who can be a guide to you, say, you know what, I don't you have what I don't have, and I want to have what you have. Therefore, please tell me what to do, and I'll do everything. And
Yeah.
I know that I won't understand much of what you're asking me to do to change in myself, but I trust you because you already have the outcome that I want to see. And that's it.
Yeah.
And I literally just cling to this gentleman who was my first mentor. He's literally the reason why I coach now, and he changed my life. And I've been now married for 26 years, happily married,
And you
you
three
know,
daughters.
3 daughters. I mean, and the whole thing, all of that stuff went away because of
Yeah.
his guidance.
Yeah.
And I think it's just really magical.
I want to make an asterisk. I don't know that it went away. And what I mean by that, I'm going to give clarity because you're using it as a way to offer connection to people,
Yeah,
seeing where they were, and you use it
yeah.
all the time. It's no longer a wound.
It's
It's
a
a crack
healed.
you
It's
fortify.
a healed. Yeah, it's the scars are there, but the wound has been healed. And
Yeah.
and also, I think I am a believer in using pain to transform that into power, right? Because I was so, and I think that was a propellant for me. That was actually fuel. Because if I didn't have that desperate desire to know how to build a healthy family and a painful inability to do so, I wouldn't really have a direction, right? So that pain actually propelled me to trust, to lean in, to learn. I was a sponge. I could get anything I can get my hands on, literature, books, and that, especially that person, a mentor, a guide, a coach. I mean, it's just unbelievable how you accelerate in your progress.
Yeah. I think you hit on a really foundational truth of when you want your life to look different, the only way for you to have your life look different and actually gain that difference is two facets. One, you have to be willing to say, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do here. And the other is you have to be willing to surrender to advice and
yeah,
thoughts and outside, because if you're constantly looking still within your, like, with what answers you already have, you're still working within the box that you don't want.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, and only despair gets you there, I think, and I think I
Absolutely.
like despair. I like despair. I think it's really, it's courageous to say I'm desperate, and it's courageous to say I need the help, and I don't know the answers, and I will do whatever it takes to get the answers. Please help me. That's it. It's that simple. People are so bad at that. Like,
I
you don't
definitely
have
have
to.
been.
Yeah, I mean, you don't. If you find the right person, and obviously it's the right person, right? Oftentimes you just don't get good advice, and you don't get the right person, and you just can't find that guide for life. But if you find somebody like that, being all in, it makes all the difference. All the difference.
I've recently come to this accepting that, like, sadness is not this negative thing that we brand it as. It's this beautiful gift telling us that we deserve the thing we lost or deserve the thing that we don't have, right? I love the way that you just taken and added to that for my life by
Mm.
adding despair and the framing around how we have these negative associations, which with what ends up being this beautiful positive, how that
Yeah,
despair gave fuel.
it's absolutely. I mean, I just said, I remember speaking on stage at an event, and I basically said, "Look, let me tell you about the three generations of my family that were broken homes." And I went into detail of the things that happened in my life, my dad's life, my grandparents' life. And I said, "Right here, right now, I'm telling you, this stops with me." See, that's fuel. And it mean that fuel kept burning, is still burning, 30 years later.
Yeah.
I'm very, very intentional about my family, so it brings you places you probably wouldn't have arrived without that despair, right? I am desperate to this day to make this victorious and wonderful. I mean, I literally have said to my kids, look, I've made decisions, even career decisions, where I said I will walk away, probably, not probably, for sure, from millions of dollars in order to ensure I am present in your life. I've never missed a birthday, a recital, an event ever, not once, not once. I have a date with my wife every week, sometimes twice a week. And that's how serious I am with it. And I have sacrificed for it, and I will continue to sacrifice for it.
I love that. I love the terminology, "I will sacrifice for that." We so often will sacrifice for promotion, an award, a position, a car we want, a thing,
Mhm.
but the sacrifice for that connection, that affection, that vulnerability, that the family,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. And it
Yeah.
it allows you such depth for that. We over and over and over, we have this pattern of reaching out from ourselves, right? And we isolate ourselves. But in this sacrifice in your life, you dug into yourself,
Yeah.
found your treasure, and were able to connect to another person out of that treasure and then maintain through that sacrifice. That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's a you're that's very accurate. And so now my public persona, my brand is
Yeah.
actually rooted in that. And I think it makes the brand more powerful,
Yeah.
there's more substance to it, and you can feel it, right? Is
Yeah.
that, look, I'm not gonna be I was talking to one of my clients who is very, very successful business guy, and he goes, "I have a buddy who has a banner on LinkedIn, 8x multi-million exit or something like that. You know the type, right? That's the banner. That is literally on the forefront. That is the literal banner, like you're holding that banner in your hands, but it's a banner on LinkedIn, let's say." And he goes, "I just don't know what to do with that." And I said, "That right there, my friend, is good because you don't want to front. The treasure you think it's a treasure is not the 8x thing."
Yeah.
And he's actually quite successful. He could do
Yeah.
that all day long. And I said, that's why I don't have, multi-million albums sold, blah, blah, international recording artist, and a list of other things on my banner, because to me, that's not the treasure. It really
Yeah.
isn't. It's just a byproduct, right? So I would rather present the treasure. And my
Yeah.
treasure, I'm a founder of my coaching program is called Exponential. That's my treasure. My treasure is human beings have the ability to exponentially impact others around them if they just get in touch with it and learn some skills to do that. That's it. That's my treasure. I believe in that. I'm driven by that. I love that. And it people can see. People can see when I speak to them that is my treasure. It's not a front, it's not a banner, right? It's not
It's a life.
it's a life, right? So I think when you are choosing your way on how to, and you have this burning desire, hey, I want to share something with this world, right? I want to create content. I want to build a business. I want to write books. I want to speak on stages, whatever it is that you decide the medium is.
Hmm.
I think we all do it because of a deep passion. But then out of an insecurity is we copy somebody who is showing these sort of shiny banners that I think in our heart of hearts they're cringeworthy to most people, maybe not everybody, right? But for most people, it's like, yeah, that's not me, but I'll do it because I guess that's what you do, you know.
Yeah.
But and I think you shouldn't. I think you shouldn't just copy on the surface, right?
Yeah. The surface isn't where the beauty is. The surface is just the
Yeah,
reflection.
yeah. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And the thing
And
is, everybody starts copying something. It's not completely authentic because we just want to get our foot in the door, meaning understanding how to do this in the first place. But eventually, you should very quickly move on to something a little bit more authentic and with more substance. So,
yeah. Yeah. There's a journey, right? There's a
yeah,
there's a
there's a journey. Yeah, we're
yeah,
all
there's
cheating when we start off, right?
oh
A
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
cheesing,
No. No, for
whatever it is
sure.
that you do. Yeah,
Yeah. No, especially if you've not been in front of a camera and then you're getting in front of the camera, you're gonna be weird and you're gonna
yeah, you're
look
gonna
not
perform a little
authentic
bit.
because
Yeah,
yeah, because even if you know who you are, there's a level that you might still feel weird about that particular thing because it might be a wound or a crack. But it's through the process of doing things that you're really uncomfortable with that you can kind of figure it out, whittle it out, and
find your
then
space. Yeah.
yeah.
There's I use this example a lot when I work with people that when you want to master anything, you first imitate a master, then you iterate on what you learned, and then you integrate that into your life. And that's sort of the journey. Leonardo da Vinci, of course, painted the most famous painting there is, the Mona
Mhm.
Lisa. But his actual first painting was an angel in the corner of a painting of a master called Andrea de Verrocchio. He was an apprentice at Andrea de Verrocchio's workshop. And Andrea had a masterpiece of his own, and he gave Leonardo that little corner. Say, okay, paint me an angel here. So we all start by painting angels on somebody else's canvas. Then eventually, we can paint our own Mona Lisa.
Yeah. Have our own creativity and find ourselves. That's a
Hmm.
beautiful example. I love that. I did not know that. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
you can look it up. It's public knowledge. You'll see the angel in the corner. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I definitely I'm curious what the angel looks like, so I definitely will, but I love that. It's a beautiful example.
yeah,
The idea of painting on somebody else's canvas what they've told you to do,
yeah.
starting there.
You start there. You always start there.
Yeah. You start where you are. You start with what you can.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think sometimes we can get intimidated by the start. We can get part of the scars, right? is you feel, whoa, I don't know if I have it figured out enough. I don't know if you shade away. And when you do that, you're almost sealing yourself up into a box. You're pulling yourself back, and you're almost burying, like you're talking about the treasure, almost burying yourself, covering it
You
up.
are, yeah. Yeah, you shrink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's,
And I'm sure, for example, Leonardo da Vinci, I'm sure he looked back at that angel on Andrea de Verrocchio's painting and going, "Oh man, that's just cringeworthy," right? Like for him at the time, in
yeah,
retrospect. But it's probably cool to know this is the journey.
yeah, to see the mess along the way and it be okay that it's messy.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think deep down, we all know that people have to start at zero, but we don't often see the messy journey for most people.
yeah, and that's actually the error that most people have. Like all the people that I work with, I go, okay, look at this example. I basically find a Verrocchio for all of them and say, find me 2 or 3 Verrocchios that are almost like a guiding North Star for you when it comes to
Uh-huh.
the space, the format, the platform, all of those things. Find a Verrocchio. And every single one of them goes, yeah, I could never do that. And I go, yeah, because you're comparing your life at 0 to his life or her life at 10 years of doing this.
Uh-huh.
Like if you compare your life at 0 to her life at 0, you'll be fine. You'll realize that she was at 0 as well, right? So, but we compare. It's not an adequate comparison, right? Like all you're doing is painting an angel, and you can't compare yourself to Andrea de Verrocchio, who was super famous, and he has all the best commissions from the wealthy people, and he has a big studio with maybe 20, 20, 30 apprentices running around and bringing coffee, right? Yeah, of course you're not Verrocchio, but you're the
Yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci at point zero.
Yeah. I think often in life, the comparison of either forward or behind is what ends up creating some of the conflicts in life that don't necessarily exist or don't need to exist. They do exist, but they don't need to exist. A silly example is I've got 4 kids, and my oldest daughter was talking about my 6-year-old son and being frustrated with something that he was doing because it wasn't to the quality it should be
Yeah,
in playing a game. And I stopped and I was like, okay, no, it's frustrating. Preach. Frustrating. I get that. Totally valid. What were you like when you were his age?
yeah,
And we get this frustration
yeah.
because either we're looking at somebody who's at 100 and we're at 0 and we're like, oh, I'm the worst. I can't do it. Or we're at 20 or 30 looking back at 0 being like, can you
That's
believe
totally,
them?
yeah. I have many conversations like that. I have a 31-year-old, believe it or not. Makes me feel pretty old. She just turned
You do
31.
not look like you could. That
But
makes you feel
I
better.
basically, I've taught, well, the younger two are 21 and 23, and she would, if she complains about something like, I don't think it's fair that they dot dot dot. I'm like, you're 30, okay? They're 22. Are you serious? Right? You have to sort of bridge the gap there a little bit. You're the grown up in the group.
Yeah.
So
And it's
yeah, I've
sometimes
had
hard
plenty
to
of
be the grown
those.
up in the group.
It is, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because it feels like it's not fair, and it is not fair. It's true. Sometimes the older sibling, has it harder. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. I've communicated to my kids quite frequently about the fact that with each one of them, they have like benefits for where they are and who they are and how they like where they were in relation to my life, and they have negatives. So like my
Totally.
oldest was the experiment child, right? I didn't know what I was
Hmm.
doing. I'm figuring things
Yeah.
out. But positively, they also got so much devoted attention, right?
Were you over eager with the oldest?
I think I think part of the problem was I was in a place where I still had a decent portion of me lost in performance, is a good way to
Mm-hmm.
put it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
I think I was too focused for the first few years about behavior versus
Right.
what
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
matters.
Mm-hmm.
And so they have the cost and the scars of my having too much focus and too much control on trying to have them be
Yeah,
behaved.
and I think that's normal. My same thing with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
And so
one of the resentments of my oldest, she's like, "Gosh, they can get away with murder. I didn't get away with that." And we're like, "Well, you're the first one. Sorry,
yeah.
You sort of chill after a while. After the second one, you chill a bit more. On the third one, you're just barely paying attention, going, whatever, it's all good."
Yeah. What what I told my oldest is I've sat down with them multiple times and apologized for some of the things because I had less space for them to, like, experience and be because I
Yeah,
had so
yeah,
many constraints on, and I say, "Listen, there's no excuses. There's no excuses. I can't do anything about it. I can say I'm sorry. I can give you reasons, but it doesn't change your reality. So all I've got is I'm sorry and I'm doing better." Like,
yeah. That's good. I think that's very healthy.
yeah.
You know, one day they'll know, and I've
Yeah.
said that to them multiple times. One day, karma, it's called karma. You'll have kids of your own, and you will
Oh,
know.
man, the best gift I've ever been given is a tiny version of me. And
Yeah,
I mean it and
exactly.
like, oh, I mean, like, she is amazing. She is
Yeah.
so easy to love. She's they're all fantastic in their own unique ways, but she was the surgery my heart needed to
Ah,
prove
interesting.
to prove that I was actually lovable,
Oh,
you know?
fascinating.
Yeah. So I think definitely there's a level of things come around and, God, universe, whatever it is gonna teach you a lesson, but in not in a mean, "I'm gonna teach you a lesson," but teach you the lesson that lets you be free to become
Yeah.
more into the treasure that you are.
Yeah, I think so. I think family is the best way to do it, personally,
Yeah.
because
It's
it's
an
I mean,
integrated
ul
though.
yeah, I mean, and ultimately, I mean, there's nothing more important than love in life at all, like 0. There's nothing even close.
Yeah.
And family is the way the place where the focal point for love. That's
Yeah.
the thing where you're most accountable, the consequences are harder, the benefits are more amazing, all of that, right?
Yeah.
So, leaning into family is it's definitely my single best investment ever that I've made.
Yeah. It's the the joy in the fire. It's where you get to really see what you've learned and how you're
Yeah.
applying it and who you really are.
Yeah.
Because who you
And
are on the worst day, they see
mhm.
and they know.
Yeah. And if you build it right, you get to enjoy the benefits of the skill that you've acquired
Yeah.
because you said no to many other things and sacrificed many other things to acquire this particular thing,
Mhm.
which is it's very nice. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love the fact that you do this, right? And you're helping people build a brand and people have this brand is used so much, right? But what it
Mhm.
ultimately is just the way that you communicate who you are and how you bring aid to another person, right?
Yes. Mhm.
And I love the fact that you've taken this branded word brand and
Mhm.
this environment to try to help people make an income because they got to, but you do it with this foundational truth of helping them dig in, helping them see themselves, whittling off the things that are them hiding. That I know it was intentional. I know it was thought through and invested, but I love that type of model because there's so many people that exist in the world trying to get to the thing over there, the
Yeah.
cheese, the promotion, the this much per month.
Mhm.
But what actually matters isn't what's out there. It's learning how to live life with what's here.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is, and I do it both because I believe it's true and it's the only way, but I also do it because if you wanna fly higher, you have to dig deeper first,
I like that.
and there
That's a quotable.
and there's no other way. I don't think there's another way because you can't fake it long enough. It has
Yeah.
to come from a place of alignment, of deep treasure, of deep passion and calling. And if you find that place, then that's rocket fuel, right? That's the treasure. On the surface, your field is worth X. After you dig up the treasure, your field is worth 10X.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah. I think it goes back to when you're talking about we can see when somebody's being authentic, when they're being
Hmm.
generous, when they're being, and you're drawn to it. So even in a world where let's just say you could fake it long enough,
Yeah.
what type of life is it? What type of
Yeah,
life are you
it's
building
miserable.
yourself?
Yeah, it's so miserable. It's there's so much effort in it, right? Like it's like white knuckling the brand.
Yes.
Like really, do you want to white knuckle the brand, or do you want it to shine with no effort on your
Yeah. When you
on your part?
just yeah, when you just learn how to and it can be for anything, right? How you show up and who you are, no matter what you do, it integrates.
Hmm.
Whether you're a doctor, whether you're it doesn't matter because you're still gonna be you in that.
Yeah, yeah, and there are so many things that people just don't we don't connect the dots, right? Because you go, I'm a doctor. Let's say I offer medical advice or nutrition or longevity. Let's say that's my brand, and your education has some part of it. Your expertise has some part of it, but then there's these deep layers of quirkiness, passion, inclinations, curiosity, stories. They don't get integrated into that brand, and it makes that brand very bland, very mediocre. Like anybody can do that, basically. So, and then you're just sort of honestly tempted to go, okay, it's sort of bland, okay, what do I do? Where's the plug and play, right? And somebody will sell you their 100%, you know, verified method of A to Z with all the templates and all the AI and all the stuff, and you use it as a crutch. And ultimately, you fail even if you succeed on one level, you will fail because at the end of the day, the brand is you,
Yeah. So you're either
you know?
failing yourself into a box of white
Yeah.
knuckling, or you
Yeah,
fail
exactly.
yourself into not succeeding because everybody can tell that you're not being something of
Or
substance.
exactly, and then you'll use all the technology, all the funnels, all the stuff to hide the true you. Or you can learn a little bit about that, but really find the true you first, and then use the technology to amplify it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really, really, really an interesting thing that I even I said find in myself that I look around and I can see that connection. Like I see that authenticity, right? I can see when somebody's just like and when you walk in the room and you can see someone, you're like, man, they're having a great day. And you could just feel it. Like it's like they just
Yeah,
listen to
yeah.
favorite music. You have that energy. But then I can still find myself in a situation where I have something I want to say. I want to take up some space. And I can find myself inside of myself trying to like push it, right?
Mhm.
Or like
Yeah.
years ago where I'd be afraid of being vulnerable, offering myself up, even though we can see it in another
Mhm.
person.
Yeah,
When
100%. It happens to all of
and
us. Yeah, me too.
yeah.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, I think I shared that with a friend recently. I've been sort of changing the way I do my solo podcast. I do interviews as well, and I do solo podcasts. And I recently have just hit this sort of new level of depth and intentionality with it. Everything from writing to shooting to editing to the production, all of that. I was sharing this with a friend, going, it's almost like I haven't given myself permission to be this creative and this thorough and this intentional, because I can't find another reason for it, because I know that I had the same exact skills 5 years ago and 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Same exact skills. There's no difference in me.
Mhm.
But internally, there's a level of what you said.
Yeah.
I'm going to just keep it on this level to sort of fit in, to maybe not stand out, maybe not to fail, whatever it is, right? But there's like 3 levels down to you, and
Yeah.
you just don't give yourself permission to go there, to
Yeah.
literally fully liberate the power that you already possess, right? And to
Yeah.
me, I'm 56 years old, and I'm still discovering these layers where I
Mhm.
go, I don't understand how I know I could do this 5 years ago. Why
Yeah.
didn't I why didn't I not do it? I and I don't have an answer. And I think
Yeah.
that it's just a mindset shift, right?
Yeah. I think it's beautiful though because it's a testament to even though all of the things you've changed in your life, right? Where you came from the broken home, you did all those things that it isn't about an arrival, right? It isn't about a you've achieved. It's about the fact that it's a continuous investigation of yourself. It's a continuous looking in that
Yeah.
mirror and questioning and probing. And the fact that you hadn't did isn't it's not a denigration
Yeah.
because you weren't there and you weren't ready for it, but you are now.
Yeah,
And for
exactly.
whatever reason, this is the
Yeah.
time.
And exactly, and it's just like it's really puzzling, right? To go, what is it? Because it's not capability or skill or wisdom.
Yeah.
All of it was already there for years and years and years. But there's something that clicked just 2 months ago that hadn't clicked before.
Yeah.
And it's just incredible. What a mystery, right?
Yeah. But it's so beautiful when it does. Like we can life is about perspective, right? Life is about perspective. So somebody could sit there and have that moment and be like, why didn't I? It's so frustrating. But instead, the moment is 2 months ago, I found the current and I'm swimming with it and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm so glad I'm here now.
Yeah, it's magical.
Yeah.
It's
And
magical.
there's this,
But if you don't really launch onto a journey of discovery like that, that's probably, to me, that's probably the thing. I would say if there's if you're passionate about anything, you need to have some sort of anti-hero, right? Like, who's the evil twin? And to me, the evil twin is people not pursuing their creativity, their potential, the treasure, not digging it up, just standing there and not grabbing a shovel and not getting dirty and not having 5, 10, 15, 25 holes that brought nothing and
Mhm.
still keep digging. That's sort of to me, that's the anti-hero. I'm like, seriously, you have so much to offer. Start digging at the very least, and then keep digging, and then eventually you'll hit something that it's what you describe as, oh my gosh, I'm in this. I've sort of tapped into something that was already there. I knew it's still me, but I just
Yeah.
found it just now,
I
and I
think
can't wait to share it with other people.
I think people get to a pain threshold, right? For me, I'm with you. I had to get to a dire spot. I had to be in despair
Yeah,
for me to be willing to really dig in and say, this can't happen. I don't know. Let's find an answer. But in the process of the I don't know, the why you're driving towards, the why of the reason why you have to go. So for me, it was, I have to be a different person so that my kids don't have my childhood. I have to be a different person because I want them to have a life where they have joy and love themselves. And if I don't model it, they can't, right? That was my
yeah,
why. And that's because my kids are magic and everything. There's no dislodging that why for me. It doesn't matter how hard
hmm
it is, it doesn't matter what it is. But if you don't have and know a deep seated why, there's a threshold of pain, whether it's physical, emotional, exhaustion, it doesn't matter what it is, there's this threshold. And I think that's why people stop digging. It's because they're like, well, maybe I don't have the treasure, or
yeah,
their hands get blistered and they can't do it anymore. But I'm with you. My anti-hero, if I'm choosing one, it's me in the past.
hmm
And not a denigration. They were surviving. They were doing the best they could, but that's my anti-hero.
yeah, yeah. I see that. I see it in myself as well, obviously.
Yeah.
Because there's always this fear, and people from the outside can never tell because you might be very accomplished to
Hmm.
them, right? You've
Yeah.
arrived, you've done a lot of interesting stuff, but to yourself, in your heart, there's stuff that's still there that you haven't unearthed,
Yeah.
and that you haven't offered to the world in service. And that pain is, I mean, I think the beginning of a great breakthrough is realizing there is that pain and that tension, and it's building up, and you are not okay with that building up anymore.
Yeah.
You need to find out what it holds.
Yeah. I think that sometimes when people are afraid of offering themselves up, they think they're too much. But the great thing is you can never be too much to the right person, and you're always too much to the wrong
Yeah.
person.
hmm Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I've had years like that. Years when I feel like I'm too much,
Yeah.
and it's sad, but it's there.
Yeah. Sometimes it's okay to sit in that discomfort, though. We don't like it,
Uh-huh.
but to sit in that discomfort of fear of I'm too much, the just sitting with yourself is almost an emblematic, real, tangible way for you to tell yourself that you're not too much because you're existing with you.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and also there's time. You're not ready and not ready until you're ready.
Yeah. And
But
that's
yeah,
okay.
but yeah, I've definitely, and I am definitely authentic, genuinely weird. So I am too much, like objectively, right? Because I'm
Oh yeah.
such a mutt, you know, of like you know, I'm literally, I'm geographically, ethnically, historically, a complete, you know, mosaic of things. So I don't really neatly fit in anywhere. So, and I'm painfully aware of that, right? And that's probably why I eventually, even if for a time being, I sit into I'm too much, I'm too much, I don't know what to do with this exactly. Eventually I'll shoot for the moon. I'll go, I'm done. I need to find out a little bit more of an authentic expression of what I need to be doing right now. So I've
Yeah.
done this many, many times, several times in my life, like 5 or 6 times. And
Mhm.
there's a new version of that where I go, enough, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's really brave, though, the way that you have gone. If emphatically, you can say, "You've done this, you succeeded, so none of them were bad," but sometimes people can get afraid of pulling the lever, pulling
Oh,
the
yeah.
parachute, changing the life because they're afraid of what's on the other side.
Totally, yeah.
But if it's not aligned where you are, no matter how much you white knuckle it, going back to that,
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
what did you gain?
Yeah, yeah. And the older you get, the harder it is to pull that lever,
Yeah.
you know? So, and the need to pull it actually is very seasonal. I don't think we talked about this, but I believe especially in almost like this I think it's life and also professional life as well, like calling, vocation.
Right.
There's these 4 seasons in life that everybody goes through, and they're very organic and they're natural, and then people basically resist going into the next one, and they stay in the previous one just out of habit, out of safety, out of whatever, right? So there's 4. You are a student first. You look at the thing from the outside in, right? You imitate
Mhm.
people. You're in school, and then you're a practitioner. So you're sort of getting somewhat good at something, a practitioner. Then you become a master because you stayed with the thing. And between practitioner and master, you can change 3, 4, 5 things, you know, and then you find the thing, and then you become a master. And then after you, and master is sort of this, probably on average is, you know, 30 to 45 ish, something like that. It's usually the age where you really become good at something.
Mhm.
And then the 4th season starts creeping in, and it's very slow, and it's the season of sage. And what you enjoyed during mastery, which is you build, you hustle, you just, you know, you're all in the thing, becomes less appealing.
Yeah.
And what becomes more appealing is a legacy and sharing your wisdom in building somebody up from kids to people that you mentor. And what is the legacy? And even if you build something very significant, and I've worked with some people that build very significant things, that's not enough because mastery is fading slowly. The master season and
Mhm.
the sage season is rising. And that's when people start getting sort of these midlife crisis things, you know.
Mhm.
And you, if you hold on to the old season, you're not going to do well. You
Yeah.
know.
It's kind of like if your ship's going to port, right? Because it's
Yeah.
like going to the next season. It's going to your and if you're trying to like, no, I'm not going to go to the port. I'm just going to keep sailing, but you have nothing left in your hull.
Yeah.
You've got nothing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you're where are you going with it? Like what?
Yeah.
You can keep going, but like to what? How?
Yeah. It's not gonna. Yeah. It's not gonna work for you. Yeah. It's not gonna work
Yeah.
for you. So yeah. So there's different sort of constructs and frameworks that explain the phenomenon. But I like that one because I go, oh, that makes a lot of sense, right? You know,
Yeah.
when you're building stuff and you love building stuff, and then you actually don't want to build stuff anymore. You want to give to people,
Yeah.
for example, you know, and you want to create some sort of legacy that's more long lasting. You share wisdom. You start, I want to write a book all of a sudden. You know, why? You know, I didn't want to write a book 10 years ago, that sort of thing, right?
Mhm.
And I have stuff to offer, like, and I see it all the time, all the time. It's like clockwork. No
Mhm.
one escapes that. It's just some people acknowledge it and then go, I'm gonna lean into this. And some people just literally refuse to acknowledge it. So,
Yeah.
and they don't do anything with it.
Yeah. Imagine having that voice, that thing inside of you that the thing you know that you wanna share, but you have that intimidation of, who am I? I'm too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
And then you close that throat off
Yeah. Uh-huh.
instead of opening it up to share it out. How drowning that must feel.
It's really, yeah, it's a slow death, right? It's how people decline
Yeah,
and start going crazy a little bit.
yeah. There's this lack of authenticity, and then with lack of authenticity, the lack of connection, and that goes back to what we were talking about, where connection is the thing
Mhm.
that helps you continue. Like, if we have each other's back, we can go anywhere. We can do
Mhm.
anything. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
amazing.
true. Mhm.
So I have a question. You have this whole system that you coach people, you help people with their branding and all that. I I have gone through and I have done different coachings or whatever. Everybody has ways they go about it and exercises they do, right?
Yeah.
Things that
Yeah.
help the person. I have a question. What have you found to be a simple exercise in the beginning of your process
Okay.
with somebody that you
Uh-huh.
found to be something that really opens up their mind or opens up their viewpoint of themselves or opens up their perspective? And
Mhm.
what is that exercise?
I would say so. So sort of I have several things that obviously everybody has those, right? There's
Yeah.
tools and frameworks and things like that. The one like that's fundamental for me is like these three like macro steps and pillars. One is called fuel, the other one's called edge, the other one's called brand, right? Fuel
Yeah.
is basically what propels you,
Mhm.
and it's all of the stuff, right? It's emotional, it's physical, it's spiritual, it's stories, it's the passions, the quirkiness, all of that stuff. That's all fuel. That's the stuff that pushes you. And if you're low fuel, you can't really do the next thing, which is edge, which is finding out what's your competitive edge, what makes you unique. How can we find a focal point for you that will be
Mhm.
completely your category of one? And without that, you can't build a brand, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, so the fuel piece, I think, is the easier one in the sense of you can feel the difference in a week, right? In one
Yeah.
week, you'll feel the difference when people sort of enter into that process and they want to embrace that. One of the pieces of fuel is daily exercise,
Mhm.
a spiritual practice, and a creative practice, and people you hang out with, your circle, right?
I love the simplicity
It's
of
so,
those, but the complexity of it also.
yeah, but I can guarantee you, like if I, like when I teach that and I say, this is what I want you to do with the first hour of your day, maybe hour and a half. If you
Mhm.
do this one thing, like do exactly what I tell you to do,
Mhm.
I can guarantee you within a week, you will feel very, very differently. 1 week.
Mhm.
Just can you bear with me and do this for 1 week, right? Even if
Yeah.
you're not comfortable with it, whatever, right? And I'll tell you exactly what to do. And in 1 week, your optimism, your creativity, your joy will skyrocket in 1 week.
Mhm.
And I'm not kidding because it happens over and over again, right?
Yeah.
And it's so not complicated. It's not rocket science at all, you know?
No.
You start moving more, you're sedentary, you start moving more, you will feel better. You start
Mhm.
thinking deeper, you journal, you have a spiritual practice, you meditate or pray, you
Mhm.
will you hang out with people that are going in the same direction with you and change your circle a little bit, adjust it, you'll feel different. You will start writing something down, some ideas of yours and things like that that are usually just don't because it's crowded out by the urgent stuff in your life.
Mhm.
Literally, all of that can be packaged in an hour and a half a day, every
Mhm.
single day, or an hour even a day.
Yeah.
If you package that, and I'm telling 15-minute increments of stuff, right? It's so
Mhm.
basic. It's so like training wheels.
Yeah.
But if you package it in in a specific combination, you will feel like a different person in 1 week.
Yeah.
So you ask for something like that. That's how it
That's the
works.
baseline. No, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
I've definitely found that to be very true in my life in the seasons where I let, people might label it self-care, but I think it's just trying to live intentionally. But when I
Yeah.
allow the things to get busy and I don't take the time that feels is often labeled as selfish. But
Totally.
it's
Yeah.
not, because it's
It's
not
not.
selfish, because what is selfish is me choosing the easy path of not dealing with the difficulty of trying to find the space, because then I'm
Exactly.
a person who's snapping, then I'm a person who can't be generous, then I'm a person who can't show up and love and care, because
Mhm.
I haven't loved and cared here, and you can't give
Mhm.
from what you don't have.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So there's stuff that you can do literally right now, and it's free. Like you don't need no money. you need very little time for it. And if you start doing it today, in a week, you'll feel a different like person.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And I feel like you can start with the babiest of baby steps, right? I have very little time. I've got 4 kids. I'm a single mom and I have them most of the time. So my doing it, I do all of those things, but I do them in tiny pockets of time where I can. For
No,
anybody
no,
who has
it's
these
uncomplicated.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's do what you can, when you can, where you can.
it's uncomplicated, but it's really consistency that makes the difference.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, I have loved this conversation. It's been fantastic. I would love to offer anybody else who would like to have more connection to you, where they can go, what they can do, what that looks like.
Look, if they just want to like tap into some content that I do, right? Just go to
Yeah.
it's a free newsletter. ChristianRayFlores.com is the URL,
Mhm.
and that's basically the way to get the maximum out of the stuff that I create, and I put a lot of effort into it. And you can just join however many 10, 12,000 subscribers that I have now in the newsletter. If you are one of the like the 1.1% who goes, oh, I want to be coached by this person, right?
Mhm.
Go to exponential.life, and that's sort of where the coaching lives. Exponential is
Yeah.
spelled without the E, so it's
Yeah.
exponential starts with an X.
I'll put it in the description of the
Yeah,
episode
yeah.
when it
Hmm.
lands. So it'll be
Yeah,
nice
so
and easy.
those are the two best. And you can look me up on Instagram, YouTube, all those places, of course.
Yeah. What's the name of your podcast that you mentioned?
Exponential. Yeah.
Exponential? Okay.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
exponential. Yeah. Hmm.
I love it. Well, if you found this episode helpful, healing, beneficial for you, and you can think of anybody else that would benefit from it, please share it because it's all about you and your journey and being encouraged. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Rachel.